My name's Joseph Townsend. I've been on 3 different treatments. I've been on CAPD, PD, and the last one was hemodialysis. And my kidney disease started in 2004 when I found out I had IgA nephropathy. Between the 3 treatments, I found nocturnal was a lot better. It was cleaner. My body felt, it's a weird sensation, you feel cleaner inside. Come off a lot of my medication. They had to add meds to me to give me my vitamins because of the quality of dialysis I was having was really good. My bloods were like a normal person as well. After my mum's kidney failed, I just lost all my energy. Walking up the stairs was out of breath. I was constantly feeling cold. I go to work. My job at the time was quite physical and I struggled doing that. I had to finish work completely because of the way I was. I was also in college trying to be a paramedic, doing a paramedic's degree. When I went into the unit and Gail Williams saw me, she said, "Oh, you're my candidate, you'd be good for home dialysis." I took the offer up. Once I went home after everything was sorted, started dialysing a lot more. I was training 6 days a week. I was doing circuit training, I was doing weight training. So when I was on nocturnal dialysis, I had my first boy, who's now 5. He came along and literally like 2-3 months before he was born, I got called for the transplant. So, because I had a kidney transplant beforehand, they said that the chances of me having a child was really slim because it sort of like knocks the little boys out. So when we found out that I was pregnant with Charlie, I was like, oh, I couldn't believe it. It was like over the moon and absolutely landed. So it was really, it was like, oh, I can't believe this is so good. And then after the transplant, I didn't think we'd be able to have another one because of being back, having a transplant, being on the meds again, and the meds are quite high. And then my youngest one pops out then. So I did the 3 peaks, did Penavan, Cadaridus and Snowdon. We did them in under 24 hours in a day. After that, I did Stafford Pike and then went and did Ben Nevis as well for the unit. I was going up mountains, climbing mountains for the fun. I just had so much energy, I just needed to burn it off. I was like a puppy wound up. I was one of the first lot to go home on nocturnal dialysis in Wales. So it wasn't a case of the training being done. Training was over and done within 6 weeks, apart from having the needle phobia where you got to sharp yourself. That took a little bit longer because you've got to mind over matter. On other forms of treatment, it was trying to work around work. You're feeling really low all the time, you've got no energy. If you get an ambulance, you can be out of the house for up to 6 hours a day, maybe more, depending on where you go, because of what's happened previously to the treatment beforehand. It could have saved someone ill in the unit. So there's a knock-on effect, so they could come on the machine later. You're just living, you're not really engaging with anything that's going on because everything's in your mind about dialysis, your illness, because you just feel rough, you just feel yuck. Whereas when I went on to nocturnal dialysis, started training again, becoming the fittest I did for a long time. And then I started getting involved back into work and getting in sports. I started climbing mountains to raise money for the charity. So that was really, really good. Then when I did that, then nocturnal just seemed to like become my normal life then. Like I had my normal life back, even though I had a machine as part of my life in the night. But that gave me what I wanted, my quality of life back again.
I was on the ambulances first. I've always had an interest in dialysis because of my condition. So I applied for the job, and because of my background with dialysis and knowing what I'm doing with dialysis, I was lucky enough to get the position. So I'm really happy with my job and I really enjoy it, even though it's 24 hours for me, living with being a renal patient and then working with it. It's a bit of a challenge, but I enjoy the challenge, helping patients, help them through the dialysis. I understand what they're going through, been there, done that. I'd like to train up to be a qualified nurse. and to work in renal with that and see where that goes. Still learning a lot about dialysis, what I thought I knew, but there's more in depth to it. The way the machine works, how you do different filtrations on the dialysis to make the patient more comfortable or softer and gentler for the time they're on. So it's a learning curve. So I'm enjoying the challenge of the learning and meeting people. Because I've been in where they are, I know how they feel when they get cramp, how they feel when they got fluid overload, how they feel when they got no fluid on board, the general ups and downs of dialysis. So I can empathise with them, and I get a good relation and good rapport with the patients then. So they seem to ask me a lot of questions about dialysis, and also have a lot of fun and giggles along the way.
My name is Richard John Williams, and I've been dialysis for about 3 years now. I've got a lot of external things I have to go to, and they accommodate all my night shifts around my meetings. So they've been very, very good. And of course, Joe has been instrumental in all that for me, making sure that I'm allowed to go. And they'll swap all the different times then to suit, to assist me. Joe knows exactly what people go through. You occasionally get a very unpleasant blood pressure drop. And of course, Joe's aware of all this and is there to help, and assist. Looking forward to the home dialysis. I'd miss all the staff here because we've got all good friends now, but the flexibility it'll give me to pick and choose when I do it to fit in with all, as I said, my social life. And that was the reason for it, just so I can actually pick and choose when I do it. This part of this ward in the corner over there is for home dialysis. And then you do a training course, I think it's a good few weeks, and all the checks to do and the safety checks. And then eventually you'll have a machine in the house then.
I'm a peer mentor for Paul Popham. A referral comes into the office. They will then match you to that person. So if they think that you've been through a similar thing to them, they'll match you with that person. They give you the referral. You then go and ring them up and you have a chat with them then. The chat can be like for an hour, but then it can be like you can ring them again the following week and the following week again as a catch up. You helping someone for a long time as well, or you help someone who's really down in the dumps and you sort of bring them back up.
For me, dialysis is just a hurdle you've got to deal with. And if you are lucky enough to get onto self-care, to look after yourself on it, your life is your own then, and dialysis doesn't control you, you control dialysis. So it's just to help educate people on dialysis.